What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of The Squeeze. I am your host, Tyler Conium. How is it Friday already? I don't get it. We're almost at wild card weekend for the NFL. But first, we have our bets for today, and we had us a night last night, especially if you follow me on Twitter. Officially, we did go 2-1 here on The Squeeze last night. We had the Dallas Mavericks cover. No, that wasn't part of the official bets. We had the Boston Celtics minus 2.5. That hit. We had the Toronto Raptors minus 6.5. That hit. Then we had Canadians and the Predators to go under 6.5. There ended up being 7 goals, so we lost that. So officially a 2-1 night, up 0.88 units. But if you follow me on Twitter, it was a 6-1 night overall because we had the Vegas Golden Knights that hit. We had the Dallas Mavericks minus 2.5. We had the Raptors and Hornets to go over. And we had an OG Anunoby parlay of over 1.5 threes and over 1.5 steals for plus 171. So if you followed the Twitter bets and did all of those, it was a plus 4 unit day and a 6-1 day, which is awesome heading into a Friday. Just one more quick reminder for people who are on FanDuel and DraftKings. FanDuel is doing the Spread the Love promo. I'm not sure what the number's at now. I think it's like Buffalo plus 40 on a $50 max bet, so make sure you max that out. And DraftKings is doing a over-under promo, which I think is just at it's over 28 now, and that's a max $25 bet. So you can get your bonus bets on DraftKings and FanDuel. So you should do that. And if you're not following me on Twitter, there's a good reason why you should be, because we hit a lot of our bets, which is good. It's the first time I'd posted extra bets this week. I just hadn't really liked the board, and I don't force things. If I don't like what I see, then I'm not just going to bet just to bet. And yesterday I really liked what I saw, and it came in, and we went 6-1 overall, so that is great. Heading into this Friday, I've got 2 bets in the NHL, including one with the Sharks and the Oilers, but I'm not betting on the Sharks, so hopefully this is a jinx. And a bet in the NBA, which is where we're going to start tonight, Orlando at Utah. This is Utah Jazz is at minus 5.5 for minus 105 at Betway, and I like the Utah Jazz on the spread here. Orlando is in town. The Magic are 16-26. They're 6-14 on the road. Utah's only 21-23, but they're much better at home. They're 13-7 at home. And ATS on this season, Utah is 24-20. Utah's also been playing a lot of over games lately, which I like. As the spread gets bigger, you want the overs to be higher as well. You want more points scored. Traditionally, if it's a lower scoring game, then you're going to have closer matchups, which I like. So the last few times these teams have played, they haven't played this season, but last season they played, it was a Utah 114-99 victory. Then you go back to the 2021 season where they did play 3 times. Orlando won once, but Utah won 137-91 and 124-109 the other 2 times. Against each other, the Magic are 0-5 ATS in the last 5 meetings in Utah and 1-6 ATS in the last 7. As I mentioned, the Utah Jazz have been playing a lot of over games, over 4-0 in their last 4 overall. Over is 4-0 in their last 4 games following an ATS win. So a lot of points are being scored. You look at the Magic on the injury side, you've got Jalen Suggs, who is questionable. You've got Bol Bol, who is questionable as well. So I mean, Orlando's just not very good in general. So I like the Utah Jazz at home here. They are coming off... Utah is coming off a 116-114 win against Cleveland. That was a big win. They had played a close game at Memphis and at Chicago, and then they have beat Houston. So I look for Utah to turn it around a little bit here and get a big win against the struggling Orlando Magic. So minus 5.5 for minus 105 at Betway. Now let's shift to the NBA, or to the NHL. We're in the NBA. Shifting to the NHL, we're going to once again employ the back-to-back strategy. We've got the Winnipeg Jets at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Winnipeg is 27-14, so better record than Pittsburgh, who are 21-13, though the Penguins are 11-4 at home, where the Winnipeg Jets are 11-8 on the road. I'm not going to touch the winner or loser on this game. I'm just going to do what we've been doing and bet the under. That line is set at 6.5 for minus 115 at Bet365. These are under teams. Pittsburgh is 19-17 to the under this season. Winnipeg is 26-13 to the under. One of the best under teams this season. When you look at Winnipeg's last few games, they went under against Buffalo. They did go over against Detroit and Vancouver. They pushed against Tampa, but then they went under in their 4 games previous to that. When you look at Pittsburgh, sort of the same deal. They went over in their last game, but then under, and a push. Under is 4-0 in the Jets' last 4 games when they've been playing a 4-game in 6-day situation. So that's an interesting stat, which, again, this is the whole strategy, is the more games you play in a small period of time, I'm taking the under. Under is 5-0 in the last 5 times the Jets have played on 0 days rest. So again, that's the strategy we've been going with. If you're playing on a back-to-back, you either take the money line or take the under. And the under is 6-0 in the Jets' last 7 games versus a team with a winning record. When you look at Pittsburgh, very similar, 3-0 to the under in their last 3 home games. Under is 6-1-2 in their last 9 games playing on 2 days rest. Versus each other, under is 4-0 the last 4 meetings in Pittsburgh and 5-1 in the last 6 meetings overall. So I'm going to stick with the strategy. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Jets to go under 6.5 goals, minus 115 at Bet365. And the last bet of the day, again, I mentioned I'm wearing the San Jose Sharks jersey today. They are hosting the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers are 22-18, 12-7 on the road. Sharks are 13-22 and only 4-11 at home. So the actual straight line on this game, the Oilers are minus 155. Line's actually changed a little bit since I bet it, and I don't love paying the juice on that, so I'm just going to take the Edmonton Oilers in regulation. So for them to win this game in 60 minutes, it's minus 102. So as long as this game doesn't go to overtime, we're good. I don't expect that it will. I don't expect that they will need it to. And we get almost a coin flip of even money there. Last time these teams met, you have to go back to last season. Edmonton won 5-4 and 2-1 the last 2 times they met. Ironically, both in overtime. So that sort of goes against our strategy there. But Edmonton, previous to that, won 5-2 and 3-0. So they've won the last 4 meetings. And 2 of them have been occurred in regulation, and that's just sort of luck, I think. So I do like that to be okay there. Over is 4-0-1 in the Oilers' last 4 games, 4-0 to the over in their last 4 versus the Pacific, and the Oilers are 8-1 in their last 9 Friday games. San Jose is playing a lot of over games as well, which A is good for it to end in regulation, which means a bunch of goals are being scored, and B, I do have a sort of a secondary bet that I'm going to make on this game, which I'll tell you about as well. Guess what that is? Sharks are 2-8 in their last 8 Friday games. When you look at their matchups, like I said, Oilers 4-0 in the last 4 matchups. The favorite is 42-17 the last 59 times these teams have played, so that dates back over 10 years. And the road team is 9-4 in the last 13 meetings. So I like the Edmonton Oilers to win this hockey game. I like them to do it in regulation so we can get a much better price at minus 102. And then a little extra bet that I'm also laying a unit on, so we'll make it official, is for this game to go over 7. This is plus 110 at BetMGM. Oilers are 25-14 to the over. Sharks are 27-14 to the over. Neither team played last night. The goalies they've got going, you've got Campbell for Edmonton, who's got a 3.59 GAA and a .87 save percentage. And then San Jose, Kaikkonen, who's a 5-7 with a 3.68 GAA and an 87 save percentage. So I'm looking for a lot of goals. I like the 7 because it gives us push potential. So even though we're risking a full unit, it's not that big of a risk if it ends 4-3. If it ends 5-2, I'm not opposed to a push. So we're gonna go ahead and bet that because the 6.5 over I didn't love either. It's juiced like minus 140 to the over as well. So we don't want to pay too much for it not to happen. So I'm okay with a push. I also like the idea of both of our bets on that game, minus 105 on the line and plus 110 for the over under. So let's run back down the card. We've got the Utah Jazz minus 5.5 at minus 105 at Betway. I like Winnipeg and Pittsburgh to go under 6.5 goals. That's minus 115. I like the Edmonton Oilers in regulation to win that game at minus 102. And I like over 7 for that game as well at plus 110 at BetMGM. As always, leave a comment if you're fading or following. As always, follow me on Twitter at Tyler Conniam for more picks and props throughout the day. Maybe we'll have another 6 in one day. That'd be nice. Audio versions available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify as we head into Wild Card Weekend. Let's talk sports.